What is up, everybody? The boys are back. Baseball tea. Listen, the NLCS and the ALCS are not going any of the ways that some of these experts predicted. But in reality, sometimes we need to jump. This is why we need less experts and more people, right? Is you heard the experts on TBS talking before the Dodger and the Brewer game that just took place. And I think it was 3 of the 4 guys took the Brewers. And literally, one of the arguments from one of the experts, without saying his name, because I don't want to call him out like that. One of the experts literally said, you know, I'm taking the Brewers because everything had to go right for the Dodgers to win last night. And I'm sitting there thinking, you know, Snell did deal, but that wasn't like a luck thing. That didn't
went
go
right
for
for the Dodgers last night.
Exactly. I'm like,
everything went right for the Brewers, and the Dodgers, in spite of that, still won the game. That's insane to me.
like you had the once in a lifetime hit. Double, like should have been easily 2 runs off the wall that nobody knew what was happening. You get a freak double play, and then Dave Roberts goes full send, old school Dave Roberts pulls Blake Snell, and we can get into it. But regardless, Big Z, these series are crazy. The Mariners are up 2-0, but
what's home field advantage? What is it?
Well, dude, it's like you and I talked about when we jumped on yesterday, or when we jumped on Sunday. And I said on the podcast, look, the Mariners top to bottom are just too much for the Blue Jays. They're just too much.
They're a complete team. Yeah.
I think it's funny. I think the story is similar in some ways and different, obviously, in many ways. But similar in that I think when you look at the Mariners and the Dodgers lineup, despite the fact that I think both lineups have actually not gotten going yet, right? Yeah. Like there's a couple guys, like Rodriguez from the Mariners looks fantastic. Kike Hernandez from the Dodgers looks great. Max Muncy going yard. Freddie's found moments. Betts has found moments. But big, large name, Shohei Ohtani, not got going. Arozarena, 2 guys that in the playoffs before, 2 of the best players in the game. Neither of these guys have gotten going, and yet they find their teams find themselves up 2-0. It's crazy, Big Z.
I mean, Jorge Polanco on the Mariners, just clutch hit after clutch hit after clutch hit in the DS, now the LCS. He's actually, according to StatCast, the clutchest hitter in the league. But yesterday, again, they were up 3-0. Logan Gilbert gives up 3 runs. It's 3-3. He comes up to the plate with 2 guys on, hits a go-ahead 3-run homer to take the lead. They never look back. I mean, these are the guys. This, like we said on Sunday, postseason is where legacies are created, and it's always the unsung heroes. Like for the Dodgers, Kike Hernandez, again, like it's Geektober time every single October. It doesn't matter what you do in the regular season. As long as you produce in October, you're going to have a legacy that follows you for the rest of your life. And I love that the postseason just, you find these characters that you would never have found, in the regular season. So it just shows you how well ran these teams are, from their managers, from the top, the executives on down. Like they believe in their guys. It doesn't matter who you are, how much money you're making. Like if I put a bat in your hand, I expect you to produce, and that's the confidence that these guys instill in these batters, these hitters, and they produce on the field, man. It's great to see.
You're not gonna hear any argument from me. I think if you're a Dodger fan, which we are, obviously, again, we're not shy about that. I think you're looking at Kike Hernandez and you're saying, you need to retire in Dodger blue. I mean, he's a Dodger through and through, going back, a year ago when he came home from the Red Sox, and literally those were his words. He's taking BP, gets a big smile on his face, and was like, "What's going on?" He's like, "I'm going home. I'm going home. I'm going back to where it began. Keep him here." And again, if you're a Mariner, you got to be happy with a huge signing, a Polanco, that a lot of people were very, very, very critical of not long ago. Is this paying off? Look at this waste of money. Look at this waste of cap space. And now here he is producing in the playoffs. And a lot of times, these are the moves that the GMs really get to sit back and say, like, look, this is why we spent. This is why I put the money down. This is why, because in the playoffs, you got 2 guys like Yamamoto and Snell. Anything you can do, I can do better, right? They're looking at each other. All right, you went 8 innings and you had 10 strikeouts. Well, I may not get 10 strikeouts, but I'm going 9 innings.
Let's be honest. Complete game.
Let's be honest. A lot of that was on Dave. And I'm sitting with my buddy who played some college ball. We're watching the game, and he's sitting there telling me, and I'm disagreeing with him like I know baseball, which I don't. He knows baseball so much more than I do. And my buddy Chris is like, dude, listen, he's got to leave Snell in. And I'm like, but Roki was unhittable versus the Phillies and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, look, it's the playoffs. It doesn't matter. Snell has it tonight. You ride the hot hand. He was at less than 100 pitches, right? Let him do this. And he was right? We all ended up sweating as Dodger fans watching that game. The Brewers almost stole that game. And I'll be honest with you, Big Z, I wanted your thoughts on this.
Yeah.
I thought, even though the Dodgers, even though they deserved to win that game based on how much was going against them that game, I thought they played better in every way. I thought they had more. Their pitching was better. They were hitting better. They did all of the things better. They're even playing small. They're out small balling the Brewers right now, right? They've laid multiple bunts.
Which is crazy. Yeah.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
But in game one, I thought that game was still a far more damaging loss to the Brewers than it would. Like, the Brewers, I thought, needed game one.
Oh, yeah, well, that's why they fight for a home field advantage throughout the whole season, for that moment, right? And for it to be stolen away from you in game one, it's demoralizing for a fan base like that, for a team like that. Like, you're the Cinderella story. I know the Dodgers have gone into it like, yeah, they're the Cinderellas, but we're taking them seriously, which is a great mindset to have, because you never want to poo-poo your opponent. Like, they're looking at them just like the same par as them. But also, if you're on the Brewers side, like, you know how good this Dodger team is. And when you're given that many chances, you have to take advantage of them, especially in the playoffs. You have to steal games from this Dodger team. That's the only way that you're going to beat this team. And when you had a chance like that in game one to take the momentum, even if you split the first two games of the series, that's a win. Even though if it's at home, it's still a win. You go back to LA, you still have a chance, right? So it was so demoralizing because they were given chance after chance to take advantage. I mean, Terang, Blake Treinen almost hit him, right? With the bases loaded. Yes, it's human mentality. Like, get out of the way. It's a 100-mile-an-hour fastball coming at me. But, I mean, I don't know. It was a big topic of discussion today. Put your knee out, man. Like, that would have got the tie and run in. You know, again, it's easier said than done. But, like, these are the things that, like, you have to take advantage of, and the Brewers just didn't. And now they're staring at an 0-2 hole going back to Los Angeles. Tough, man. It's tough.
It's got to be terrifying. And on the other side, if you're the Blue Jays, where's your head at right now, Big Z? I mean, when I'm watching these games, the Mariners bullpen has not given up a single run. So the starters know all they have to do is go 6. If they just go 6, then they're fine. I mean, there's so much comfort. Like, it's almost the opposite. This is where I said there's a lot of similarities, because both some big pieces on the Dodgers and the Mariners have not gotten going, but they're doing it in such different ways, right? Over here, you have the Dodgers saying, like, you've almost got to go 8, right? You have to go 8. You've got to go 8, or the Dodgers are in trouble. Whereas the Mariners, like, hey, dude, give us your stuff for 6, and the bullpen's going to take over.
And that's the traditional way, I think, of approach for the playoffs. I think it's get your starters, go 5 or 6, the new school way. Since 2015 and onward. Like, that's how the Royals won their World Series, is because they had just such dogs in the bullpen. And the Dodgers last year, like, they won it completely opposite of this year. They won it with their bullpen. So if I'm the Blue Jays, like we talked about this on Sunday, they came into this, I thought, oh, Bryce Miller's on 3 days rest. There's no way he can go even two innings. It's going to be a bullpen game for them. We got this. We're on a high. We just destroyed the Yankees. We just, took all the breath of life out of New York, and they come into this 15 innings games for the Mariners and the Tigers, and I just don't think they took them seriously. And the Mariners came to fight, man. Like, Cal Raleigh hit that game-tying homer, and that was it. The Mariners took it from there, and you could see it. The Blue Jays just did not. I think they were in disbelief, and they didn't wake up from the bad dream in game 2. And then the Mariners came right at them. Julio Rodriguez with a 3-run homer in the first. The Blue Jays tied it, but that was it. The Mariners just scored 7 more runs after that. The Mariners are rolling, man, and the Blue Jays. I don't think the Blue Jays. I think the Mariners get in 5. I said 6 initially, but I don't think they wake up from this, man. It looks bad. They don't look with it. They don't. They look lost.
Yeah, I don't think that the Mariners have luxury. Like, when I look at these two series, we said it. We wanted to be respectful when we were picking the Dodgers and the Brewers. You and I both wanted to be respectful. We sat here and said, listen, Dodgers could win this in 4, but let's be respectful. Let's say 5. And now it certainly looks like 4. It certainly looks like there's not a whole lot of answers that the Brewers have. You're not getting any relief. You're not getting any reprieve. The next starter is either Glasnow or Shohei. So you're not getting any sort of relief. Yeah. There's no coming up for air, right? And on the flip side of that, you're the Blue Jays. you're getting beat in the way that you beat the Yankees. And I think for them, there's obvious that the series that comes to my mind, because you and me we love sports. It comes back to that Pacers, thing when they needed to get through the Knicks, right? They for years Reggie Miller was trying to get to the Knicks, or trying to get to the Knicks, and they finally beat the Knicks, and then boom, the Bulls are waiting, or whoever it was, and they lose. I feel like that was the Blue Jays, man. Like they pop champagne, like we just beat the Yankees. The East is ours. We're doing it, and now we're gonna represent the AL. This is gonna be awesome. And then here came the Mariners, and like, hold on, bud. Like we're pretty good at baseball,
right? I don't know. There was a lot of. I mean, talking about poo-pooing on these experts. A lot of these experts took the Blue Jays to over the Mariners. They said the Mariners bats just weren't alive enough. Their pitching was it just is kind of mid. And I think the Mariners took offense to that. Like they felt kind of slighted by everyone besides Seattle, and they took it like the fact that they won Game 1. I thought that if you split the first 2 games in Toronto, that's a huge win for the Mariners. But the fact that I feel like they stole Game 1, and then they put their their foot on their throat in Game 2, and I think it's an easy 5-game, maybe even a sweep for them. But these experts, man, it's funny. It's like, where are you getting your stuff? Where are you getting your stuff? Because you're not right so many times. It's like being a meteorologist, like they get just so many passes, and they just keep showing up on these talk shows every single day. And it's like, dude, stop talking, because you just don't know what you're talking about. I don't know.
I think the truly crazy part is when you look at the Mariners, you look at the Blue Jays. Obviously, the Mariners they've got Kirby going. He is going to be taking on a dog in Shane Bieber. So I think if you're the Blue Jays, I think Game 3 you got to take it. You got to find a way. Yes. You got to find a way to take Game 3 behind Shane Bieber. I know he hasn't been what you wanted him to be up till now, but we all know he's got that dog in him. So let him go out and be that dude.
Yeah,
he's got to find it, right? He's got to find it.
Does. Yeah.
Against the Yankees, gave up 5 hits, 3 runs. It's not great. 2 of them are earned, but he's got to find it, right? He's got to be shut down. I think if you're Shane Bieber, you got to find a way to go deep in this game, right? You got to find a way to actually put some. You got to go far.
That's why they brought you in. That's why they brought you in, because in Cleveland, he was the guy. Before he had Tommy John surgery, he was a Cy Young caliber pitcher. And that's why they brought him in for games like this. Whether your back's against the wall or to close out a series, in this case, it's your back's against the wall. You have to win Game 3. It's going to be a hard environment up there in Seattle. But if they want any chance of winning this series, they have to take this game. Their bats have to get going. Vladdy has been silenced, which is really surprising to me, because he was hitting 600 going into the series. So if their bats get going, I think they have, a chance to win Game 3. But yeah, I think the Mariners, after they lost Game 1 in the LDS at home the way they did, I think that kind of woke them up. Like, that was their moment, and luckily it was first game of the series, and they just haven't really looked back since then. So again, we'll see. Things can happen. It is baseball. It's a weird game, but just it seems like the momentum is like heavily favoring the Mariners and the Dodgers right now in these 2 series.
I don't see. Obviously, the Brewers. Look, I don't. At some point, it's not about your guy slumping. I don't think that's the case. I really don't. I think when everybody looked at the series before, right, the one thing we heard about coming back to the Dodgers and the Brewers, right, which is different than the other series going on, is the Brewers dominated the Dodgers in the regular season. Everybody's holding on to that. Look, they won all 6 games. They won all 6 games. Like, there's only one problem with that, right? Only Yamamoto was pitching at that point. You didn't see Snell. You didn't see Glasnow. You didn't see Shohei, right? It was all the way back in July. So this is obviously going to be a different team. They did get to Yami last time they saw him, and Yamamoto didn't have a great start in the last postseason game that he started, right? He was arguably the worst start of the NLDS for the Dodgers.
Right.
And so as we moved into this game, I thought this was a game, if you're the Brewers, you got to find a way to get to him. You got to find a way to get to Yami. But Yamamoto did such a great job of just attacking the strike zone, staying within himself. And I think that's what really killed the Brewers. And the problem is, I don't think they're slumping. I just think the starters for the Dodgers are that good.
They're just that good. It was crazy to me the way that Yamamoto bounced back after giving up the first pitch, leadoff home run to Turio. And I was like, ooh, that was hard. But, you have two paths you can take in that point. You can kind of just, phase away and just kind of pitch a little scared, not confident, just kind of pitch around the zone and get taken out in the 5th or 6th. Or you can just keep doing what your game plan is. Like, yeah, I gave up one bad pitch and I'm just going to do what I need to do. And he chose that path and, he benefited from it, right? And so that was really impressive to me. They were talking on the broadcast about how he had 14 complete games in Japan, in the pro league there, and this is his first one in the Major League Baseball. And what a time he chose to pick his first complete game in Game 2 of the NLCS on the road. It is insane. It's crazy. It's 21 years it's taken for the Dodgers to have a complete game in the playoffs, and Jose Lima had the last one against the Cardinals in 2004. So history was definitely made tonight. Like we said, like the new school way is your starters go 5 or 6 in the playoffs. The bullpen finishes up. The Dodgers went completely opposite of that. They went old school, and which is crazy because they're an analytically driven team, and they're going against the analytics, which you and I, we love. Some analytics is there's a purpose for it, but sometimes it can go too far, and it has lost the Dodgers many playoff series. And when they win the World Series, Dave Roberts actually manages with his gut because he played so tough and so gutsy. And I always say, like, if he manages the way he played, like, forget it. Like, this team is unstoppable. So I love the way he managed tonight. I love that he left him in. He learned from his mistake last night. So yeah, it's great game by Yamamoto, man. Just looked unhittable.
And we're not saying, we're always going to get it right. Obviously, the experts are the experts for a reason. Having said that, like, have a better reason than everything went great for them this last game when it's just completely the opposite of what actually took place. Regardless, I think when you look at this series with the Dodgers, if you're the Brewers, at least the Blue Jays can take some comfort. They have a former Cy Young caliber guy taking the bump. They've got to try to steal Game 3. All of a sudden you're only down 1. It's a new series. You battle back, right? If you're the Brewers, your next game's a bullpen game. And we know with bullpen games, that can be cool because, it's a different guy every inning. So you really never get to settle in against the pitcher or see what you're seeing. But also the problem with the bullpen game is if somebody doesn't have it, you're going to get in trouble in a big way. You've got to face 3 batters minimum. And let's not pretend the Brewers starting pitching has not gone deep yet, right? So It's 5 and 6 innings, I believe. And so now an already taxed bullpen is getting more taxed. And I got to say, this is not from a place of talk and mess because honestly, I have felt the Dodgers have been there in years past. Not last year, because last year we had enough dogs to kind of get us across the finish line, I thought. But in years prior to that, when we had this is our 7th inning guy, this is our 8th inning guy, this is our 9th inning guy, and Roberts was just like clockwork, and eventually it bit us in the butt because at some point it's not going to go right. At some point,
too many times they figure it out in a 7-game series. If you keep doing that, it's like these are professional ball players. They're gonna figure it out. They have scouting reports. They see you. The more pitches that you see, look at no further than last series against Duran, the Phillies, best starter that they got the trade deadline. Mookie Betts saw him a lot because they saw him in Game 1 and Game 2. And then when it came to Game 4, he took a walk with the bases loaded against him. And that was the game-winning run. So, or game-tying run in that situation. And then they won the game. So, you can't just keep showing your guys all the time. And that's why I think it's also a benefit tonight that Yamamoto went out in the 9th and Roki didn't, because the Brewers couldn't see him tonight. They saw him Game 1, take a few days off. You can come back out in Game 3 or Game 4, whatever that may be. That's a huge benefit for Roki and the Dodgers too.
I think the big thing for the Dodgers, if you're a Brewer fan, you're listening to this, which you probably already turned us off a while ago. It is what it is. I think you're hoping that Tyler Glass. I don't think there's a world in which Tyler Glass goes a full. If Tyler Glass goes 9 innings, then I don't know what to tell you. Tyler Glass is targeting right. He's targeting
he'll go 5 or 6. Yeah.
He's going. If he goes 7, that is the ideal start. I think his complete game or his 8 innings is 7. Like that's him optimally doing what he can do. Or maybe it's going to be Shohei. Either way, I think neither guy is going to go as deep as Yamamoto or Snell. So that's where the Brewers can kind of jump out and get something going. The problem is, again, they haven't seen Banda. They haven't seen Vesia. They saw Trinan very briefly. They saw even Roki. They didn't really see him, especially if that splitter's not working, then you really haven't seen him. When it is working, that's when he really creates a problem. So I do think the Dodgers are going to handle business. I don't think this thing is coming back. I don't think either series is coming back. I'm going to say that right now, Big Z. No?
I agree. I think it's 5, both of them.
5 for both of them. Anything else before we wrap it up, Big Z?
I mean, just I don't know. It's fun to watch. I don't know. Just soak it in. You know, I hate when these series are short because it sucks. There's less baseball, less postseason baseball. So soak it in while you can. The World Series is going to come quick. But yeah, it was just great performances tonight. Special performances tonight by Yamamoto for 100%. That was just really cool to see. So congrats to him.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. And I think that's ultimately why it's a bummer that the Dodgers were injured as long as they were, that they couldn't nab one of the first or second spots to avoid.
Right.
Really, in my mind, the NLCS should have been the Phillies and the Dodgers, right? That would have been those are the two teams. Those are the two teams I think you wanted to go to.
Right. We talked about that. Yeah.
Right. 100%. But hey, the Brewers, they can battle back. They have some guys that haven't gotten going, so they just got to. I think the Brewers. If you're the Brewers, you want to take something away. You got to go back to small ball, lay some bunts down, start doing some things. The Dodgers are analytical. If Muncy's off that third baseline, lay it down that way. You know, just start getting technical. If you're the Blue Jays, I mean, just as bad as our games have. Yeah, as bad as our games have gone, those games have gone worse.
Yeah.
So you know, find it a little bit, but this has been fun. We will keep coming at you with updates throughout this thing. We'll, of course, come back at you before the World Series starts. We'll come back at you after the World Series, and then, you know, hey, we'll be with you randomly throughout the postseason, off season, and then, you know, there's some other things, World Baseball Classic. So stay with us. Big Z, say bye to the people.
People, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you guys. Yeah, we love you guys. We love baseball. Have a good night.
We love baseball. Have a good night. Enjoy. Keep watching these series, okay? Anything can happen in October. That's why these games are played. Enjoy it. Drink it up. And let's be honest. Hey, this game was competitive for a while. You know, both games were competitive at moments. I've watched the games. They were competitive.
Yeah.
Keep watching.